Hi guys, welcome to the Rule of Two, where the Star Wars news saga continues. I'm Terrence, and I am back yet again. Now, I kind of don't want to call this a wrap-up video. What I want to do is talk about where Ahsoka is going to go for maybe Season 2. So, in my last video, we kind of talked about a lot of kind of open threads that gave a lot of I guess a lot of ideas and a lot of hope of where they actually may be going for Season 2. And I wanted to talk about a couple of those and kind of see what we may be setting up and some questions that I may have about what they're going to do for Season 2. So, first and foremost, where are we actually going to be at for Season 2? Now, in Season 1, we started off in the current galaxy, and then we moved on to, I guess, the Purgle Galaxy. I guess that's what we can call it. I don't think it really has a name, wherever the witches are from, that galaxy. So we moved there, we kind of stayed there. We didn't really visit the current galaxy except to kind of touch base with Hera. I think for Season 2, I think we're going to do a lot more jumping back and forth, especially since Ezra is now with Hera in the current galaxy and Thrawn is also there too. And he has this undead army, so we definitely have to tackle that, especially since this seems to be the beginning of rebuilding the Empire. But I don't think the whole season is going to stay there. I think it's going to be a lot more of one episode takes place here, the other episode takes place in the Purgle Galaxy. There's got to be a name for this galaxy at this point. Wherever the Star Wars are from. Where we're actually going to have to continue to jump back and forth there because obviously Ahsoka and Sabine are still there. And it doesn't seem from the way that they left it that they're just going to jump into another Purgle's mouth and then travel back to the current galaxy. Especially since Shen is there and she seems to be trying to figure out her way. Even though I feel like they're setting up a redemption arc for her. I really hate redemption arcs in Star Wars. Sometimes people could just be bad. I don't know why they won't just do that. But anyway, they seem to be setting up a redemption arc for her. We kind of have to figure out their interaction between, or her rivalry between Sabine as a Padawan and her as a Padawan for Baylan Skoll. Speaking of Baylan Skoll, we have to address what are they going to do about Ray Stevenson. Now, Ray Stevenson unfortunately passed away a few months ago prior to the show actually airing, but after the show had actually finished filming. So, they were setting up a lot for his particular character. And it feels weird to say recast because Star Wars has not really been given the greatest look at recasting, or it's not something they normally do. They'd rather CGI people than actually recast people. So, it does feel weird to say recast because that's not what they normally do. But also too, Ray Stevenson has such a definitive look, it would be a little weird to kind of see somebody else playing the role and not missing Ray Stevenson playing that particular part. But because there's so much to his story to be told, as far as him actually trying to find this new power that's somehow gonna take over the, I don't know if it's gonna take over the galaxy or at least give him the control to kind of restart everything, I think that they really do need to recast. Now, with that being said, we do see Baylan Skoll at the end on one of the Mortis God statues. And yes, I said Mortis God statues because I did some research. Hashtag research. Only because you guys were blowing me up in the comments. So I actually did want to know what I was actually talking about today. So the Mortis Gods, he's standing on one of the statues. I think he's standing on the statue of the father. And over to his left, my right, you would see the statue of the son, and then it looks like the daughter, her statue is damaged. Now, is it damaged because the Night Sisters hated the light side of the Force, or did it just break down because of bad construction? But either way, it seems like they're hinting something, especially since on the hand of the father, it's pointing towards like a little open pillar, which obviously is hinting is that's where his power is that he's seeking, though the Mortis Gods actually give you access to the world between worlds. So is that the power that he's looking for? Because I feel like he went the exact wrong, long, hard way to get there, because all you had to do is just fall off a cliff like Ahsoka did, and she went right there. And I feel like maybe there's got to be some way that they can possibly use it that's going to be more interesting than just fighting your former master or just kind of revisiting old memories. But I'll give it a chance and see how that plays out. So those are some of the things as far as why I think it's going to jump back between both places going forward in the season. Now, other things that I had questions about is that this whole Thrawn thing. And I know that it was a big thing with Rebels and Clone Wars and so on and so forth. But it really feels like, well, we know how this is going to play out. We know he's not going to make it because the sequel trilogy already says that, you know, he's nowhere in the picture. Though I am a big fan of seeing kind of the beginnings of things. I'm a big fan of I'm a big fan of how the Empire started. I'm a big fan of how the rebellion started. So seeing the beginning of how the Empire is trying to make a comeback does seem very interesting, but it does seem a little futile because we know how it ends. I know that there is rumors, or at least there is talks of an actual Mandalorian movie that should feature Thrawn as a villain. Though I feel like you give me too much story on Thrawn that if you don't watch the shows, people going into the movies are gonna be a little lost as far as what's going on. Look how lost I was not watching Rebels or Clone Wars. So I was like not watching Rebels or Clone Wars or Ahsoka, and then having to go and watch a Mandalorian movie that features a villain that you never heard of if you haven't covered all that particular stuff. Though I would also like to see, if you have an undead army, why that undead army is not around in the sequel trilogy. It is a little weird. I guess lightsabers, of course, you know, they can get rid of all that stuff. My last thing, I kind of want to touch back on Ezra. So Ezra is going to come back, and he is going to be obviously a Jedi there. And is he going to cross paths with Luke? I mean, we've had this kind of overarching kind of contact between Luke and the Mandalorian, all the Mandalorians. I kind of want to see where that's going to go. Like, how are they going to, because this has been kind of known as the Mandoverse. Are we really going to cross paths here and everybody kind of work together to kind of take down Thrawn, or at least to at least fight him off? I am a little really kind of interested to see as far as where they want to go with Ezra and how far they're really going to use Ezra. Though I know by the end of the season, we're going to figure out how to ride back on Star Wars and then get back to the current galaxy, and we're going to have a quasi reunion of Rebels. But I would like to see them branch out a little bit more and not just make this the next season of Rebels. I would like to see them kind of interact with the other characters in this universe, especially if everything's in the same timeline. Let's marvel this thing up and let's just do crossovers upon crossovers. So those were the things I wanted to talk about for season 2. Some things I was kind of looking interested in as far as where they may go. I know you guys are probably going to have a lot more thoughts and a lot more information than I normally has, but trust me guys, I am doing my homework now, watching some shows that I haven't watched before to kind of get a little bit more caught up so I can be a little bit more knowledgeable for Ahsoka going forward. Now, we aren't going to get another season of Ahsoka till next year, and I know Skeleton Crew's coming up. You guys will get me to talk about Skeleton Crew as those episodes air, because I'm really interested as far as where the story goes for that, because this is also taking place around the same time frame, but in a different part of the galaxy. I like how Star Wars is branching out and is giving itself a little bit more freedom to tell stories that it wants to tell, as opposed to being beholden to what we already know in the movies. So I will be back for that. It might take a little hiatus, but I might talk about some fan stuff and rumors in between there. So just be on the lookout for an episode. And this is the first time that you're watching the channel, make sure you subscribe as well as click notification buttons. That way you're aware of the random drops that I do with these videos all the time. So with that being said, may the force be with you. Always. Wait, guys, are you still here? I'm glad you're still here. All right, so if you look down, I mean, it's somewhere over here. Look down. We actually have a Patreon. So if you guys watch the show and you really like what we want to do and you want to help support the show and you want to help me get an editor so I can get to sleep at night because I'm really tired and you guys see all my mistakes in the episodes, so please go to patreon.com/thegoods. Give us a penny, give us a nickel, give us $1.
Just don't give us the finger.
Don't do that. But make sure you do donate something, because we do have some giveaways. There's posters, there's t-shirts.
I'll sign something for you.
Exactly. So take a look, guys, and help us out. We appreciate it.